Welcome back, everybody. We are here at a new spot in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You guys may have heard of it, but you're definitely gonna hear about it now. Welcome to the Vault. These are the founder co-owners here. Right here we got Matt and Logan. Shout out to the boys.
Yes, sir.
And I'm so excited to show you guys their new spot. It's the hottest new spot in DFW, and let me just tell you, my first reaction, I wish I would have gotten it on camera. It was pretty electric. But I'm so excited to get in and show you guys what this store is looking like. It's unlike any store I've really seen in a while, and I really like how I can see their personalities come out in the store and how they built it out. Definitely their heart and soul went into this. And how old are you guys? Just give them a little heads up.
20.
Yep.
Both 20.
Yeah. So don't give me any excuses about not having a store by the time you're 20, all right? But real quickly, let's get what's on their feet today. Matt, start them out.
Got the muslin Air Jordan 5s, the off-whites, you know. Honestly, I beat these. These are pretty beat now.
I think the white laces are the way to go. That's how I did my pair too.
It's a nice little contrast, you know what
I think it's a very nice contrast as well.
like
And Logan, I didn't tell you, but that shoe is my favorite Jordan of all time.
Oh, of course, man.
And
These
just
are
tell 'em, let 'em
classics,
know.
man.
Probably mine too, not gonna
2016 white cement 4s, man. Love these, man.
That and the Bread 4 are my top two. Those are probably my top two Jordans of all time. But without further ado, we gotta show you the store. So let's get in here. After Hours edition, all right? So they stayed open for us, so huge shout out to the boys.
man.
Really appreciate it. Let's get in there.
Let's get it.
So now that we're in the store, I just want to give these guys an opportunity to kind of explain their story. Matt, I know I've known him for a couple of years now. We met at like a sneaker event, I think, in Dallas.
Yeah.
I think it was the first time we met. But I had no idea who you were, and
Yeah.
I don't think you knew who I was either. I think.
Not yet, no.
But Matt's a size 12, right? Size 12?
Yep.
I was a 12 and a half, like 13, still a 13. So I guess we're close in size. So we kind of bonded over the fact that we're a little bit bigger size shoes. Because honestly, like, big feet people kind of got to stay together in this because it's hard.
tough.
It's hard to find
tough
our
out
size
there.
sometimes and some stuff. But anyway, I just want to give these guys the floor a little bit, kind of talk about how they got to this point of realizing that this was something that was possible. So
Yeah.
you guys can take it away on this one.
So, I mean, we've been doing this since, what, 7th, 8th grade? I mean, 13. So, yeah, 7th, 8th grade, since like Adidas Yeezy was like really starting to get big. That's when we really started. We kind of got into it a little later. Yeah, I mean, that's probably about right, like 3 years after it was Yeezy era, and then you were in like Nike, Nike basketball
exactly.
era, yeah. So that's what really got me into it, like I said, like 13. And yeah, I mean, pretty early on, I got pretty obsessed with the whole 90s and Bulls, and like you said, Jordan's a pretty prominent thing in our store. You'll see that here in a second. But yeah, we're crazy Jordan guys. But we got over here, we just got tons of just cool little, little knickknacks and stuff. Kind of, there's a Shaq one, there's a Scotty one right there, Michael Jordan Wheaties. And then all day over here, we've got the Space Jam, or the highlights of 1993, the Bulls three-peat right here on the TV playing all day. So that's kind of a big thing to grab people's attention when they're walking by and stuff. And a lot of dudes that are going to the boardroom, getting their hair cut, or like going to get a new suit. A lot of middle-aged guys come in here and like, tell me all the time, oh man, this is like my room when I was in 9th grade. You know what I mean? It's super cool to like see people that like really grew up in this, because sometimes I wish I could have grown up in that. And yeah, man, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. As you can tell, Matt's kind of an old soul, and I'm less of an old soul than Matt. But when I kind of said before that you can really see how the store came out, relating to how Matt's mind kind of works, or how he thinks. And obviously Logan too. I mean, both of you guys did this together, so I don't want to leave him out either. But the vision just got like spit out onto a storefront, and it looks great. They did a really good job. I think that stuff like this, like the little widgets and stuff that you guys were talking about, the VHS, and even the Vault. Like, look at this. This is an actual bank vault that they copped. I don't know how they got it. We'll just leave that alone. But I think that's really cool that they went out of their way to get something that reflected the store's name, like a prop essentially. But I love how they picked a great spot where, if you guys maybe you guys can talk about it, this part comes out into like the sidewalk, so it sticks out compared to the other two spots next to him.
You guys can like walk around it.
You kind of have to walk around, and it kind of makes you look at this VHS and at this vault and these little things in the window, And I think that makes this store super interesting. It makes it definitely an eye catcher for you to walk in. And whether you did it on purpose or on accident, I mean, guys, this was, I'm gonna say it's all on purpose because, you know, I think you guys are, yeah, take the credit, all right? But I think it's a really genius idea. I think you guys really put this part together. This is how you get people to come into your store. Obviously, the lighting is fantastic in here. Hopefully you can tell. That's another thing that you guys did a really good job of that I noticed right away. Lighting is huge and kind of getting somebody's attention off the street that wouldn't really come into a store like this.
Yeah, and you don't want to take lighting for granted. That's something like a lot of people like it's just like whatever to, but like it's very big. Like especially like when you see the store from outside at nighttime, when it's super bright in here, it pops. Like you can see it. You know what I mean? So that's something definitely like little things like that a lot of people might not think about when you're maybe starting to open a store or something like that. That's something you definitely got to take into mind. It's very important, very important.
And pictures on the Instagram too. Lighting's everything, bro. For real.
As Matt has mentioned before, Jordan is a huge staple in this store, as you can see right here. Is it life size?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. All right.
This guy's tall, man.
Yeah, I'm close. He's still dunk on me, but it's cool. But anyway, Jordan's here. Jordan's actually everywhere, to be honest with you. I see him like, I don't know, I already see him with like 20 of them. That's a lot. But if you want to transition over here to our Jordan wall or their Jordan wall, I really, you know, as a store, I see why some people do the wrap on their shoes and some people don't. I think it's a really clean look. If you have everything else going on correctly, does that make sense?
No,
like,
that makes
I
sense.
feel like some stores with the wrap, I don't think it makes sense.
trashy.
It does because it just, I don't really understand. Maybe you could speak to it a little bit more. I kind of don't like the wrap, but like I said, the lighting bouncing off this just makes every shoe look 100 times better, and I don't really know how to explain it.
Like glistens.
Like but the customer experience is elevated already to that. And
So I mean, this was always kind of a big thing for me. Number one, we're very kid oriented around here. There's kids running around all day. So a lot of kids that don't even know what's going on in here come in here and whenever there's not wrap on it, just pop it on and just start walking around. That's a problem. Like, we're not one of those stores, so definitely can't do that. If you do want to do try-ons in the store though, feel free to ask. We grab the other shoe out of the back for you. But yeah, just a quick little thing I wanted to get out there. Definitely, that was annoying. And then also suede shoes with hands touching them all day can get very dirty. This can go from a university blue to a university brown very quick when they're getting touched like that. So that's another big thing for me.
So now we transitioned a little bit from the Jordan side over to the Yeezy side. So I have a question for these two. I think that with Jordan being, you know, all over your store and such, but Yeezy just continually being so popular, stocking so many different SKUs and colorways, I think it's almost hard to not stock your store with Yeezys at this point. Like, how have you guys, I mean, they've only been open for a couple days, right?
Yeah, like
8 weeks. 8 days,
Yeah.
a week. I mean, I just want to kind of get a gauge on, you know, how many people are looking at these Yeezys near the register, right? The register's right there, and that's, hey, listen, guys, it's little things. It's very strategic, okay? But can you guys just talk to me about, you know, Yeezy Market in your store so far? Kind of, you know, how many people are picking these up, buying them, or what do you think about Yeezy right now?
I mean, personally, I'm off the V2 wave, but I mean, I know a lot of people still love them. It's a great shoe. I can't lie. I mean, I was on it at one point, and would I get them back one day? Maybe. I mean, it's a comfortable shoe. You can't ever go wrong with it, in my opinion, especially with some of these more neutral colorways it comes out with. My first pair, I think, was my first V2 was the Oreos. Yeah, this is the Oreos. We don't have Logan's first pair. What was your first pair?
The Beluga 2.0s.
Yep, yeah, Beluga 2.0s. That was, so, I mean, great pairs. I like them. I like the way they look. Not so much of my style anymore, but I think a lot of people can pull them off very well. And yeah, they move very well. I mean, that's the number one thing, right? In a store, in terms of the store, they move very well. I can't keep foam runners and slides in stock. I already sold 2 rows of them. Man, it's crazy, man. The people love them. They just keep coming. The V2s definitely have slowed down from a year or two ago. There's still gonna be people buying V2s, but the foam runners and slides, bro, crazy, man. Yeah, I can't keep them in stock, man. But yeah.
Look at the channel. Look what Bo's been buying, all right? Yeah. Let's just say I got some slides in the closet, all right?
This guy knows what he's doing, man.
And maybe may drop off a couple pairs at Vault. I had a person that came into a shop that I consign at, actually, and they bought a size 11 Vermilion, and they were 65 years old. I got a text from the owner. I was like, dude, a 65-year-old just bought an all red vermilion foam runner for me. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
That's hard.
And it's just like incredible to me how like the sneaker world is growing.
Yeah,
like people
really
think
is.
like even with the market being the way it is right now, being tough to sell shoes as much just because prices are down. If you like don't have a storefront or if you don't have that clientele, it's able to pay that higher premium on some stuff. I think that the sneaker market, it just continues to grow year by year. More people are getting engaged with it. They're wanting to get involved in the culture and the history of it. I think that's what a lot of the older people are going to appreciate about a store like this.
Yeah, that's exactly
right.
That was a big thing for me.
And I think that what it will also do is get people that only know about Jordans to also finally see dunks,
Silhouettes, yeah.
SBs that they weren't really into when they were kids or when they were growing up,
Yep.
or Yeezys are. To be honest, really brand new. They're not.
Yeah, in terms of
they're
the
a
whole-
very
yeah,
new
yeah,
shoe.
so-
Like a Jordan 1 is a 1985. Like
Yeah.
that's an old shoe. Like a silhouette. If I could offer anything, I think that you guys should stock up on this shoe right here.
I agree while they're low.
Bone V2s go for literally retail. I think that a store like this can get these off for higher just because it's an all white Yeezy, super easy to wear.
Everyone wants the creams and don't want to pay $500.
Exactly. And you do have a pair of creams up there.
For $500.
And there's a reason why they're probably at the top.
Yep.
And then same with like Pirate Black V2s. Like you have a bunch of V2, or sorry, they're gonna roast me for that. Pirate Black V1s. Then you have a bunch of black V2 colorways. This is the new Onyx colorway. I think this is a great one to go in as well for a store. The mix rocks,
Yeah.
yes. I don't think these are too bad.
I don't either.
In the small sizes, I think these are good for like the
Big
ladies.
sizes
For the
always.
ladies, I think
Yep.
they do really well. Let's move on to the case because that's what I want to get into next.
Absolutely.
Is they've got some old heat. Matt, can you do me the honor of pulling your favorite shoe in the case? And Logan, can you tell Matt to pull your favorite shoe in the case?
Both of our favorites.
I'm looking at it.
I already know.
I knew it. How did I know? I knew it. What size is this?
This is a 12, brother. Yeah.
And whose is this?
It was my double up, so if you guys follow me on pretty much any social media, you've probably heard me say that this is my favorite shoe. Oh, top 3 favorite shoes of all time. But yeah, I love this shoe, man. By far my favorite SB, like by a mile.
So if you want to go follow Matt on TikTok, you should go follow him
Sure,
because he's kind of famous. But you guys should go follow them on their socials. We'll drop them down below right here. But yeah, I've seen this shoe many times. This is a really good conditioned pair. Is it brand new?
No, but they're close, and
They're really close.
How about that price, man? Our prices are great.
Man, you guys are lucky. That is my bank account is lucky that this is not a 13.
Yeah, man.
Man, what year is this?
2005. Yeah.
2005. Stussy.
That's a big thing for us. Is I know a lot of stores just have all the new stuff. For me, like it kind of being themed vintage, or I mean not vintage, but you got all that like old MJ and all that kind of stuff. I do cater toward the new heads. I got a lot of new models as well, but I'm also catering to the old heads for sure. I mean that's a big thing for me because I feel like I said, a lot of stores kind of have similar stuff. But if you look out on our shelves, I mean we got Green Glow 4s, Toro 4s. We got Stussy SBs, Skunk SBs, just like, that older cool stuff that, you might not see everywhere else. You might have to go to like a sneaker event to see stuff like that. So yeah, that's a big thing for me, is definitely having a really like solid curated selection of not just vintage, but shoes as well, because I love the older stuff personally.
So speaking of vintage vibe, they got you covered over here at the Vault, all right? Look at this. Can you pan over that real quick? I can't believe you have a Boston Larry Bird vintage tee up there. Talk about that one because I see a lot of Bulls up here.
I mean, it's not strictly Bulls here. I just put NBA 90s
like
stuff like
90s.
that.
Yeah, all right,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
making
yeah.
a joke.
No, but I love the Bulls, obviously.
Yeah,
Obviously. Yeah, but
No, I thought you liked the Pistons.
no, but that was just too nice to not put.
No, I totally agree.
Gas.
But as you can see, guys, not just that up there, they have a full rack. Full rack over here of vintage tees. But like, look right there. Like, let's just, for instance, like we're filming an episode, whatever, over here. But there's people walking by, taking pictures. They're gonna come back and they're gonna send it to their friends. They're gonna send it to their family. And that's why I'm not worried about these guys, even with the recession, with anything that's going on. They're in a good area, and they definitely killed the vibe in here. I know I've said it so many times, and I'm totally fangirling in here. And I wish I had this great idea, but I didn't. All props to you guys.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, for real.
Anyway, back to the vintage. I love how you guys have a huge selection. It's all color coordinated. It looks just super clean. And it feels like I could just pick up a tee and be like, all right.
Yeah, they're all good.
40 bucks?
Sure. Yeah.
Because in this market and this price point on this stuff, vintage tees I've seen move consistently. Like if you want to move some vintage tees, moving them for under 100 bucks right now is easy. I think, at least in my experience, I'm not super huge into vintage. These guys can talk about it a little bit more based on how many units and shirts they've moved so far in the store opening. But as I've seen it, I definitely have seen more people getting on the vintage wave as long as the shirts and stuff are under $100. I think it's an affordable price for a good vintage tee. If you guys want to talk about that, kind of how it's been going.
So vintage has been moving like crazy. I can't lie, man. It's probably like Bo was just talking about the unit sold thing. Bro, I think units sold, by far we've sold more vintage tees than anything. Maybe our merch, actually. Our merch, we'll get to that in a second, but our merch is, has been.
Picture right there.
Nice little plug, but our merch has been moving like crazy. But yeah, the vintage tees, man, I think it is because it's affordable and people can walk in and not have, that's another thing, these stores, I feel like a lot of people feel like they have to go in and drop $300 or something. You don't have to. We got anywhere from $15 to $550, but we got a lot of expensive tees in here. But we've got something for everybody. You know what I mean? It's not just for the crazy ballers, and we got stuff for everyone. So, but yeah, another thing is our racks are very curated. We don't have really any BS in the racks. I'm not trying to throw any shade or anything, but a lot of stores do have a lot of really mid tees throughout the racks, and you finally pick up one and you're like, oh, okay, this one's decent.
Mm-hmm.
But anywhere I'll just pick up a couple random tees. I mean, you'll see it's all fire. There's no really bad stuff on the racks. We got a lot of good stuff, and then obviously the Grail wall, Grails. I mean, pretty much all Grails. Mm-hmm. We got tees for $550 up here, $450, $250. I mean, heat, man, heat. Real vintage heads know this is some crazy heat. We even get this. I know it's a little random, but this Donkey Kong tee, I had to hang it up. I know it doesn't go with that NBA theme, but this is an absolute grail right here in terms of vintage. Yeah, man, it's been very good for us so far, the vintage has, and we're definitely gonna keep it pushing for y'all and keep it very curated and also very affordable.
I haven't seen a store with a good selection of vintage and sneakers. They're usually curated to either one or the other, so we're trying to have really good selection of both.
I don't want to say we found a lot of it in thrift stores, but some we have found thrifts. Logan's the big thrift guy, honestly. This guy grinds in the trenches, man. I'm not gonna lie. We've got bulk sellers that sell it to us. We go to a big warehouse and kind of just dig for a couple hours and walk out with a few hundred tees. You know what I mean? Just stuff
Anywhere
like
we
that.
Can get vintage, we're getting it at eBay, Depop. I mean, anywhere local, Instagram.
Yeah.
Anywhere we can find it, we're trying to get it. But it's definitely a lot harder than getting sneakers. I mean, you can go anywhere and buy bulk and sneakers. So.
So, if y'all are in the DFW area and have some vintage, please bring it in because, like I said, it is very hard to sell compared to anything, or very hard to buy compared to anything else. But, yeah, man, in terms of moving, this is the stuff right now. This is the stuff.
And honestly, I don't want to venture in too much about this, about your business, and you don't have to tell everybody, but I think that the margin is higher on vintage tees and such than shoes because there is a hard market for those shoes. I can't go on your apps and find this tee and see how many people have this tee listed at their price, certain price, there's a bid, there's an just kind of think of vintage does not have that hard market, kind of like how it was in that eBay area before StockX and GOAT, where you kind of just made your own price for your shoe of what was gonna sell. Essentially, the market used to be put the shoe for the price you thought it would sell at, and if it didn't sell, it didn't sell, but if it did, it did, and that kind of made the market, right?
Back when it was super niche, obviously, I think vintage is starting to kind of get to that point, honestly. It's a little scary. I hope no one drops a StockX for vintage because that's what a lot of people say was the downfall of sneakers, which I don't think it was, honestly. A lot to say StockX killed it.
I think it helped promote it more. I thought it promoted the culture. I thought they did a very good job of advertising and pushing to the random customer that wasn't even a customer before. I think the conversion of people who were into sneakers and buying sneakers has, multiplied by a lot.
No, I totally agree.
And because of StockX just being there.
Yeah, right? But those old heads that think, oh yeah, StockX ruined the game. It really didn't. It honestly, if anything, changed it forever in a good way. It brought it to the masses. That's what it did, honestly.
Right.
So yeah, like you said, with the vintage, it is a lot. Yeah, the margins, they're there. They're definitely there. Whether you find it at a thrift store for 95 cents or $1, you know what I mean? You can sell it for 50,
Right.
depending on the tees. So the margins are definitely there. What's going on, guys? The margins are definitely there.
That's also like the other side of it is the margin could be high or should be higher, I'd say, on vintage in a store specifically, but just in general, I'd probably say the margin on clothes I feel like is a little higher, especially when it comes to vintage. But you're not getting a lot back on the investment, like as in dollar wise. So like you're selling tees for 50 to 100 a pop, right? Or somewhere around there.
Yep.
But a shoe, you're probably not selling for under 250, let's just say.
Yep.
So like it's less cash in your pocket, but it's more profit. And then like he said, you move more volume, it adds up, right?
adds up.
So it kind of, you kind of have to sell more volume in order to make the margin essentially worth it,
Yeah,
right?
for
Does that
sure.
make sense?
Yeah. No, for sure, exactly.
But I think that's something a lot of people aren't really connecting the dots on sometimes is, oh, I can buy a shoe for 270 and flip it for 300, and I'd rather do that instead of buy, 10 vintage tees at 20 bucks a pop and sell them all for, 45 a pop.
Yep.
Right? Like, to me, it also depends on like conversion rate, how long it takes you to flip that. But
true.
I mean, there's a lot of little intricate things that go into that. But I love picking these guys' brains about it just because they're kind of in the same mindset as I am. And yeah, I really want to show you guys the rest of the store. So let's get to that.
Let's get it. That's it.
Perfect. So now that we got to the back room, this is one of my favorite parts of every store I like to go to just because I like to see the back end of everything. I think they do have a website, or it's coming?
Coming soon.
Website coming soon. So whenever that comes, I'm sure I'm gonna put it on my Instagram. So go follow us at Swappin and at bo.williams.33. If you can't find any pairs that they don't have in the area, I may have it. But I just wanted to get this part of the back room. Obviously, the guys are like, hey, it's just one rack. But it's one rack, but like, look at this space. I mean, if you guys are okay showing, like,
Yeah,
you guys have a lot of space back here to do some more damage.
For growth. Yeah.
And I can't wait for when I come back and do an updated video in 6 months, because I just did a video with Off the Bench in San Diego. Shout out to Kais and Dylan for that. And I went out there for the first time when they first opened, and even Brandon said it on his channel on Common Hype. The shoes were turned sideways, like yours are, right? On the shelves though, they had like actual shelves that went across. And we kind of were like, man, wait till we come back. And now there's no room on the shelves. They're now this way, and they're all packed together. And I can't wait to see the growth. And this is just honestly, for you guys, I think it'd be sick if you took a picture, like with this in the background, like facing this way, you just see how much your inventory is. And then you guys take a picture in 6 months and you're just like, wow, oh my goodness.
Holy shit.
Because like it's gonna get hectic. Like I already know that that's how it usually goes, and like if you do all the right things, I think all these guys are both doing the right things, and I think it's gonna pay off for them. I'm super excited. I just wanted to take a little moment to show you guys what a starting sneaker store looks like in the back room. I have been in back rooms with thousands of pairs. I've been in back rooms with a couple hundred pairs. I've been in a back room with 50 pairs, and every time I come back, it's usually always just crazy amounts more than I saw it the last time. So this is just kind of how you start. Don't get discouraged if this is how your inventory looks, or if it's even half of this, right? These guys will tell you, they didn't just get this in a day. They didn't just work up their money enough to be able to afford all this inventory to put out for you guys. It took a long time, it took a while, it took a grind, it took a hustle. You just gotta make that initial investment, that time investment as well, to put into your product and put it into what you think is valuable, right? And then eventually, it's gonna pay off. And right now, it's already paying off. I mean, you saw the store, it looks incredible, guys. And it's only gonna get bigger. You're gonna call me and text me and be like, hey bro, we ran out of space, we need to figure out more shelving. And then I'm gonna come back and you're gonna be like, oh, well, we had to take this out because we needed more shelves with shoes, or we needed more for vintage. I think that's gonna be the coolest part. But anyway, just a quick show of the back room. Nothing super glamorous here, but it will be in 6 months, let me tell you, when I come back. So here's another part of the store. We're right outside the back room in the back. Got more of these like little widgets and stuff, little cool details, right? You got off-white books, they got a ton of them up there. I'm sure we'll get a little nice B-roll shot of those, but they got I actually have this book, so it's funny that they have that. But even like just little stuff, like little posters, open books down here.
This is actually pages out of the Off-White book. I ripped them out and put them up here. But it looks dope.
With paper clip.
It even looks, but it looks cool. Like that looks scrappy. You know what I mean? Like it looks, it goes with it. It doesn't like look.
Is it a vintage?
Yeah,
It
exactly.
looks like a 14-year-old in the 90s.
Yep.
Got a bunch of clippings out of the magazines and books and stuff and put them up on his wall with like push pins and stuff.
Exactly. That's what we were
And you
going
know
for.
what? That's the vibe they were going for. So,
Exactly.
you know, put her there, boys.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Put her there.
That's
You
exactly
guys did a
what
really
we
good job. Because if I'm getting it, then they're going to get it. Right?
Yeah.
But just wanted to end here, kind of talk about the nitty gritty stuff, the things that people really want to know. And it's going to come down to, you know, what are you paying for the place, right? Because this is a nice spot and it's in a good area.
Yeah.
You know, if you guys look up the address and you guys come pull up, it is a really nice spot, which is like a really important thing when you're picking a store is that location. And I think they picked an awesome Grand Slam location, but obviously you got to do what you got to do in here. And honestly, the lights, the shelving, everything else that they've done to the place, it's not cheap. I know that. And I know they put a lot of money, hard work, sweat, all that stuff into this store. And can you guys just give me an idea of kind of what that looks
Our
like?
overhead. So
Yeah,
I'll
our
just tell you what our
overhead.
whole overhead is
Cool.
like. Because I mean, it's not just rent. A lot of people just think, oh, I'm gonna open a store, I'm gonna pay my rent, and we're gonna run our store. No, it's paying for 6 different like attachments on the POS system. Because it's not just having the POS system that you have to pay for monthly. It's the card reader and the card payment option and the label printer. You have to pay monthly for that. So all in, like all that stuff, rent, employees, electricity, some money I set aside for myself too, because I gotta pay myself obviously.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that, like you guys pay yourself. Which is,
pay ourselves obviously. That's another one. I've got to set that aside. So all in, like monthly, we're looking at around like close to 30K all in. That's with everything though, not just rent obviously, because that wouldn't be really.
So $30,000 in a month. Let's just say quintessentially to run a store, you take $30,000 cash and give me like a cash little thing, and then you just take it and you throw it in the garbage and
Pretty much.
put it on fire.
Literally,
But
like-
I mean, it's funny, but that's essentially what you're doing. I mean, you're taking $30,000 at the beginning of the month, throwing it away, and
Forgetting about it.
we got to sell some freaking shoes. We got to sell some vintage. We got to, you know, put our brand out there.
Yeah.
And
But it's all the little things you don't think about that really add up. Honestly, the rent's cool or whatever.
Yeah.
But bro, it's like all the little things that just like add up. It's things you don't even think about. Oh, bags, like buying bags, like that's expensive. Like stuff like that is not cheap, especially when you're really moving stuff. Like having to buy new bags every other, like I also probably need to find a good supplier for bags because I'm not doing that right now. Yeah, okay, bet. But having to buy bags every week, that's a pain.
Keeping the inventory.
Keeping inventory up, because another thing is you don't want the
racks
shelves.
to dry.
Exactly, you don't want the racks to start looking dry, like Logan said. And I mean, there's a million things.
because you guys are a buy sell trade shop,
Yep.
but what's the traffic look like as far as selling to you guys in store? Like is that
it's really good. I think we get at least a buyout an hour. I'd say
it's not too bad.
A buyout an hour.
Okay. And what's a buyout like look like for you guys? Is it around a couple pairs? Is it one-offs, or is it a couple? You know, have you got any collections walking in?
Yeah, so far the biggest, I did have one collection come in so far. It was like 17 or 20 pairs. That was the biggest one I've done so far. I've been up with 8 days, but
Right.
that's the biggest one so far. That looked like a few thousand. I think it was like 4 or 5,000. It was some good pairs though. I mean, like Green Lobsters, Supreme SBs. Yeah, there's some like high-end stuff in there. It wasn't a bunch of mid, but. Yeah, I mean we've got everything from the $100 dunk to the big collection so far, and I'm sure that's gonna keep getting crazier and crazier as we grow and people start finding out, oh, they buy shoes. So yeah, that's another thing though. We are always buying, like always. There's never a time that we're gonna be like, oh, we're not buying anymore. Never. So we are always buying for the right price. Always though.
And that's something that's valuable. I know the word. I think the word you should get out of this video is value, right? I think that added value right there of cash on hand or checks or always buying, that's pretty rare nowadays, especially with how the economy's going and just the industry recession that we're kind of seeing right now. It's hard for people to go into a store and a store being like, yeah, I can hand you a check or hand you cash right now. Some people are struggling, and I'm not saying stores are struggling at all, but people are struggling right now,
No,
and
for
people
sure.
are definitely looking to liquidate some pairs to be able to put toward real life things.
Yeah,
and
no, absolutely.
you know, to be able to have an outlet to do that here and support a business where you can make some money on top of it and
a win-win.
you know, build that relationship. I mean, that's something that I feel is very valuable, especially in this area.
Yeah.
Because I think there are, you know, other places that aren't always ready like that.
Yeah,
and
store
I,
credit all the time, and
I think that's the tough sell, and I think it just gets people to keep coming through the door, and then they come back. Let's say when they're actually not trying to sell you pairs, they're actually trying to buy something,
Exactly.
or you know, they're trying to trade towards something that you just posted on the Instagram.
Yeah,
If you want to go follow the Instagram,
Vault DTX. One thing I do want to say about that, what you just said, is it brings people in the store. So, like, even if we are stocked up on a certain pair, I mean, it's for the right price, we'll take it. And not only even if we don't end up coming to an agreement, because it happens all the time too.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens, and we're not mad at y'all, and y'all should be mad at us. It happens. We can't come to an agreement sometimes. But just having people come in the store and saying, "Wow, this is so dope," taking one picture and posting it on their Snap can bring 5 more people into the store, even if we don't even buy anything. It's just actually getting people to walk in the store is what like really can. It grows. It's like a snowball. Like you get
building relationships. and
that
stuff
too,
like
networking, just getting connects, and just actually always buying, even if it's not always the $15,000 cash outs or anything. It's just getting people in the store, and half the time they'll walk out with a tea or something. They'll just come in wanting cash, and they're like, "Hey, can you just subtract this from my?" Yeah, you know what I mean. So like, it's not always just straight up buying. I mean, sometimes there's buying stuff from us too. So it's definitely important to me to always buy, just in terms of that, because it actually brings people into the store, which is important to me, obviously. But yeah, real quick though, I got something for you. Let me go grab it for you.
Yeah, for me? Come on. It better be some like really nice pair of shoes. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh man. Okay, so we talked about the merch earlier. We popped up a picture earlier. Guys, you gotta get this tee. Like, this is some of the best store merch I've ever seen. And they put a lot of time, a lot of effort into it. Nothing on the back, but look at this logo, guys. I mean, that's just so sick with the Vault right there. Jordan obviously couldn't go wrong with putting him on a tee. You'll definitely be seeing this in an Instagram fit at some point in time. Definitely give you guys a tag.
Oh, yeah.
But huge shout out to you guys for this, man. I mean, it's sick. Raul, did you get yours already?
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Oh yeah, so
Had to
we,
put the
yeah,
point.
we'll have to do it. But dang, thank you, bro. I really appreciate
Of course,
that.
man. Thank you. Thanks for pulling up, man.
I
really
appreciate that so
you.
much.
Yeah, of course. So much.
So that's gonna wrap up this video. Huge shout out to the Vault DTX for having us after hours. Shout out to Matt and Logan and everybody involved in making this store possible. I mean, I'm so jealous right now that this was not my baby, my idea, because they absolutely knocked it out of the park. If you guys are ever in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you guys have got to come to the Vault DTX. It's in the South Lake Town Square. You gotta come through right next to Mi Cocina if you wanna get some food after. I think we're gonna go grab some grub after this, but I think the video says it all, guys. I mean, it's a beautiful store. I'm really proud of these guys. At 20 years old, it is possible. So don't tell me in the comments that it's not possible and this and that. No, they've been working on this for a long time. The vision is just, I mean, it's there. It looks great. And right now, I'm about to go do some shopping. So I'll see you guys in the next one.